How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys having a great and exceptional night. So let's do this. So when I was at the gym today, I put out a funny quote from quote unquote Slim Thug, and I actually got to see Slim Thug perform in Houston a couple months ago. So it was great performance. Been seeing Slim Thug for years. You know, the first time I heard him was Draped Out. It was a Houston collaboration song or whatnot. I got a lot of love for Houston. Got a lot of folks in Houston. Been going to Houston since 2009. So, got a lot of love in Houston. But Slim Thug, good rapper. You can take what a entertainer has to say with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? But he says this, and I got a lot of responses, and I didn't think I was going to get this many responses. So I said, you know what? Let me talk about it. Let's get some perspectives and go from there. Slim Thug said, and I quote, he said, "Men won't need women once robots learn to cook, clean, and be intimate. A lot of women are scared too. Fellas, because that's the little S, I'm not going to cuss, they do. This robot is fitting to do that S. They going to have to really come with something now. I got a robot cook for me and clean and do all that, so what do I need you for?" Now, a buddy of mine that I grew up with, Chris, he said, he has some truth to this. Now, me, I'm not for the robots. I'm good. I'd rather be by myself or have my dog with me. It ain't that serious. I'm not making love to a robot. That ain't gonna happen. But and fellas and ladies, give me your perspective in regards to what Slim Thug had to say about, hey, men won't need women once robots learn to cook, clean, and be intimate. Now, he's clearly, makes more money than your average day-to-day guy. So people like him can say that. People that are well-to-do can say that because they're like, hey, if they don't want to be, I mean, I remember seeing movies and shows where man versus machine, robots being in our existence, and we are living in that world right now. Okay, so people can get mad at this situation all they want to. We have self-driving vehicles. We are living in the time where robots are taking jobs, and in a sense, in certain situations, for those who can afford it, they will be taking people's place, men and women. Because I even had a woman who said, if that's the case, then I don't need you either. I can get me a man to do the same thing as well. And I mean, I've even seen people get married to AI, like a woman got married to an AI man, in certain parts of the world, specifically Japan, they're having the least amount of sex because the men don't want to have sex. They'd rather engage with social media and video games than have sex with women. And that's why they, in a sense, have a population problem. This could come to the Western world, from Australia to the United States to Europe and other parts of the world, because of two factors. One, robotics. Like I said, this is just facts. Whether you agree with this or not is irrelevant at this point. This is facts. Robotics. Meaning that, hey, if a person, will start having sex, people could start having sex with robots. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not going to do it, but I'm saying people will start having sex with robots because they're tired of dealing with human beings. We have to accept the fact that there's a generation of 20-somethings right now. I'm in my 40s. But we have to accept that there's a generation of 20-somethings that are saying, hey, I'm used to being with my technology. I love being connected to my technology more than I love being connected to human beings. There's a possibility that this could become a trend within the next 20 or 30 years. So you could hate on what Slim Thug has to say, but this could become a reality. I'm not talking about my generation of the 30-somethings and the 40-somethings. I'm talking about the people who are teens and in their early 20s. This is the first generation that they are used to being with. It's hard for them to not be connected to their electronics. There are certain jobs out there that you cannot get if you have your cell phone on. You have to leave your cell phone in a lockbox or leave your cell phone in the car because of the kind of sensitivity of the building that you're working in. A lot of young people refuse working in those kind of environments, and these are very nice jobs with great benefits, great pay, and plenty of promotion potential. Heck, even if you're an entrepreneur, these are great places for you to get corporate and government contracts. But a lot of people will not do that because they can't let go of their cell phone. They are used to being connected to it at all times. It's weird for especially specifically younger people, some but not all, because I don't want to put everybody in a general category, but it is normal for these people to be always connected to their technology. That's why on flights nowadays you can buy Wi-Fi so that you can be constantly connected during your flight. Especially, I would imagine. I mean, I usually don't do it. I've done it one time. That's because it was a long flight. But I know going overseas, I definitely would buy the Wi-Fi because I would want to be connected, like, taking those 8 to 10 hour flights or even longer. But the point of the matter is that a person like him owning robots like this, and then bear in mind, there's just some people that don't want to have that general human connection. But a person like him owning robots like this, it's because he can afford it. But what if robotics become much more? Because eventually, for these corporations that create these robots, for them to increase their profit margin, they're going to have to make it just like with cell phones. Remember, there was a time where not everybody could afford a cell phone, so they had to put, corporate America, i.e., the phone industry, had to put themselves in a position where, hey, how can we make this more affordable so that your everyday working person can afford to buy it, so that we can increase our profit margins, and therefore we can increase the value of our organization. And the same thing is going to happen eventually with robots. And unfortunately, there's a chance where people are going to be like, you know what, I'm tired of dealing with the human race. They're going to just say, you know what, the heck with it. I'm good. I'm a date or marry a robot, or just stick with a robot, whatever the case may be. For love, companionship, I'm going to build my ideal man. I'm going to build my ideal woman. I mean, I remember a show back in the 90s called Tales from the Crypt. And there was a guy that dealt with a engineer who sold the ideal woman for men. So this guy actually was with a robot.